In trying to figure out how to relate my personal testimony, why I want to go to Truett, and my community involvement, I realized that the central theme of all three things is love. See, before I had a personal relationship with Jesus, I didn't understand much of the concept of genuine love. I grew up very much alone. My mother was often gone on business trips, so my brother and I were primarily raised by my father, who was very cruel, especially to my brother. Now, my family were churchgoers, and I knew about Jesus, but strictly in a factual way. I knew that he came and that he lived and he died, and that he loved me, but I had no idea what that meant, and this is how it was until 2012. In January of 2012, my father apologized to my brother and I for how he had always treated us, and while this seems like a good thing, I had always just told myself I was exaggerating and that it wasn't really that bad. So this just made everything real in my mind, and a couple weeks after that, my parents told us that they were going to start attending a marriage counselor, and around that time, my brother began disappearing for days at a time. So I spent 2012 watching everything I thought I knew really just fall apart. It was the first thing I'd ever encountered that I couldn't fix. I hadn't done anything to cause it, so I couldn't do anything to fix it, and that drove me crazy. But on July 12th, 2012, at Global Youth Camp, I accepted that I couldn't do it alone, but more importantly, I realized I didn't have to. I realized that Jesus loved me enough to die for me, and I think for the first time I glimpsed what that meant. I don't ever have to go through life alone, and I learned that that was the essence of love. And accepting all that just changed everything. Over the course of the next year, my family started attending counseling, and finally being honest with each other provided the pathway to start healing very deeply broken relationships. My family now is unrecognizable from what it was. I mean, that is my testimony that the love of God changes everything. That was the summer before I started high school, so with that newfound worldview, I got really involved in church, in discussion, and youth leadership. And in school, I got really involved in my school's theater department, and I still really am. I spent the first years learning and using that as a medium to share the gospel in church plays, and then my senior year, I have gotten the opportunity to mentor the most amazing group of underclassmen girls. The best part of it for me, though, was that I wasn't officially declared crew leader at the beginning, so I spent the production not knowing if I was in charge, but that gave me the opportunity to lead them by serving with them, showing them and teaching them and working with them, as opposed to just directing them. And that taught me so much about servant leadership, because I learned that that's how leadership should always be done, with the idea that those around you are working with you and not for you. One of the other things I did is I got a volunteer internship at a local low-income nursing home called Avalon, working with the activities director and doing patient visits and that kind of stuff. And that was probably my most life-changing involvement, because I'd always felt this call to third world missions, but I didn't know what that was going to look like. But my work at Avalon and through a couple overseas mission trips in Jamaica helped me realize my place among medical missions. So when I started looking for college, I wanted a school that would teach me how to help people spiritually as well as physically. I wanted a college that was more than just medical. If I want to have Christ central in everything I do, I want to have a college that has Christ central in everything they teach. And that's why I want to go to Truett-McConnell. That is my profession of faith and of career. That is who I am and why I am. Thank you.